Okay, I believe we're live. I'm going to just double check on YouTube.
Okay.
We're live, I think. It hasn't come up yet.
It says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Oh, it says live.
Wait a minute, something's loading. It hasn't come up yet. There we go. Oh, and I need to put myself on mute. There we go. We are live. Hello, everybody. I am Jared from MuppetMindset.com. And with me is, of course, the man behind Walter, Ernie, Harry, Statler, Joe the Legal Weasel, Tata, Pip, but probably most famously, the guy in Muppets from Space who says, "What? Hey, I believed in you, man."
What? Wait a minute. I believed you, man.
I never went
more scared in my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Linz.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Thanks for letting me be your distraction, and thank you for being my distraction.
Thank you for distracting me. I appreciate it. We talked a little beforehand, but I think we need to quickly bring up the amazing setup behind you.
Oh, this?
Yes, I'm going to pull out. Here we are.
Oh, see, okay, so my beautiful, amazing wife who died 4 years ago, she she didn't want Muppet or puppet stuff all over the house. We have like a grown-up house, but I have all my Muppety stuff in my little office here. So this shelf behind me is just 28 years. Oh gosh, no, it's not even that. It's a lifetime of souvenirs from various things.
Have you got anything there that sort of, is it merchandise? Have you got any? You stole it?
Yeah, I do actually have a few things that are kind of cool. Okay, so all right, so you remember the scene? Do you remember the scene in the Muppets in the 2011 Muppet film where someone to pedal, someone to break, and Life's a Happy Song, the opening scene? So Jason Segel plays Gary, and Walter were riding a bicycle built for two. And the Walter on that, you see him full body, was an animatronic radio-controlled Walter. This is the bicycle seat that he was mounted on.
Very cool.
And let's see. And there's the hole. There's the hole. That was the post that went down and clamped on there to hold up the animatronic Walter. So the bicycle seat.
Well, there you go.
That's something. There's not a product.
That's something that nobody else will ever own.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, I have something else that's pretty special. All right, don't tell anybody I have this, but this was. Oh no, the label fell off. Ah! Oh no, you'll never believe me.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, for crying out loud! All right, you know what?
This is going poorly.
This is going really poorly. This is a really cool prop. This is a really cool prop. It was nothing without the label, though, which is dried up and fallen off. Hopefully,
is it the door? Door in a jar or something?
Not the door. It is. Ay. Okay, yeah, it is. This is a door in a jar.
Okay.
And the label has
gone.
Completely come off, but it's here. I know it's here. So that's from Muppets from Space.
Afterwards, you can spend some time gluing it back on.
And this is oh god, this is the piece of resistance. I don't know. I'm gonna try to break everything.
Oh, very cool.
Is it? Is it?
Wonderful.
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, now I know how to spend the rest of self-isolation is looking for that label. Oh, here's the fun. This is I think there was a karate chopping duck in an early episode of Between the Lions, and I think he karate chops this very realistic looking brick.
I wouldn't live in a house made of
that. So yes, I do have a few things on the shelf that are not merchandise. Actually, I've got a lot of things on the shelf that are not merchandise.
I mean, it's cool. I mentioned earlier though.
My friend Susan made for me.
That's very cute. Do you know there's a?
I put it in the dryer. It used to fit.
Oh. There's a pattern for an Ernie sweater that I have been sending to people I know who knit, going, "Can you make me this?" And no one's done it yet.
Oh, well, we have like 3 or 4 people watching, right? I bet somebody out there could make that.
We have 51 people watching at the moment. I know that's the most I've had in the live stream in a long time, and I reckon that's.
No, I'm nervous.
Well,
Touch
you
it.
talk about yeah.
Okay.
Or if you prefer, just do it with your hand because that's probably a little more comfortable.
That's true, actually.
Well, how is quarantine? How are you going?
I think like most people, getting better at it.
Yeah.
The first
How
week.
long have you been stuck in your house?
3 weeks. This is Friday of our third week. And I'm in New York, but I'm north of a good hour north of New York City. So there are lots of quiet places to walk, and there's some ponds and nature and all that stuff. So I mean, we are very, very lucky. Yeah, we're getting better at it. I don't watch the news. I just I don't know. For me, I don't know about for you guys. For me, my survival is just, and my heart, my peace of mind is just being in the bubble I can control. There's so much happening that with no control over. But I have 3 kids, and they're all home, which is a tremendous comfort. Yeah. And we're one day at a time, and we try to keep to something of a schedule. And yeah, that's
really all you can do.
The scariest thing is grocery shopping, which I did yesterday. And the planning, like the 10 days worth of meals. And anyway, we're trying to do it right. And so far so good. We're 3 weeks, nearly 3 full weeks in, and it's like, okay, all right, and it's not forever.
That's exactly right. We're not quite in the lockdown you guys are in at the moment. So we can still sort of leave the house, maybe not for non-essential things. But I think the full lockdown's coming, and I'm really not sure how I'm going to deal. I think I'll be okay.
You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I will say the first week was really tough. I just had so much anxiety. It wasn't. I mean, so many people were feeling this, but getting better at it. My gym's closed, so I can't go work out. So I do my prison workout. I've got I'm not kidding. I have a cinder block wrapped in a towel in my driveway. And I'll be walking lunges carrying the cinder block. And when it's too cold to do it outside, I've got a bag of hammers that I'll carry around the house.
I mean, that's just a good thing to have anyway.
Bag of hammers? Yeah.
Bag of hammers.
Totally.
let's maybe walk away from bag of hammers and talk about something a little more cheerful.
We're down to 6 people, aren't we? We lost our 50.
No, we're actually 59.
Oh, wow.
We're doing well. I want to talk to you a little bit about character development. I mentioned this briefly to you before we started actually streaming. I sort of want to go through a couple of your characters and talk about how you developed the character for them and sort of the work you do for those characters. So we'll start with Walter.
Okay.
Walter, introduced for the 2011 film. Was he created by Jason Segel?
Yeah, I mean, well, it was kind of a team of people creating Walter. I mean, yeah, Jason and Nick Stoller wrote the character. The folks at Puppet Heat, Paul Andreyko and Stefan Rotondero, designed and built the character. And then, as is often the job for a puppeteer, I had to come in and flesh out the character, make them 3-dimensional, not to be too artsy fartsy, but give them a soul, figure out how they would react in any given situation and grow them.
So you obviously auditioned?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They auditioned both coasts.
Yep.
I got called back a couple of times, and eventually got the gig.
Was it with the Walter puppet as we know it, or was it with like a different puppet?
It was not the Walter puppet as you know it. It was a mock-up. I mean, it was a puppet.
Yeah.
But it was not quite the final design.
Okay. And so
it was a prototype.
Yeah. So how do you go then from taking what's on the page and sort of fleshing it out? Do you do a bit of work in, thinking of some sort of backstory? Is it talking with Nick Stoller or Jason Segel?
It was a little bit with Jason, but I tell you who was the biggest influence on me with that character was Bill Beretta.
Okay.
Bill really held my hand. I mean, we had the script, and of course it evolved and it changed over time, and a lot of Walter's backstory was baked into that script. But I remember having conversations with Bill Beretta at the beginning of the filming, and Bill was the one who actually had the idea of doing the voice, basically my own voice, because that was not originally what I was doing. I was talking with Bill, and it's like, he's just a guy. Walter's just a guy, and his story. There's a lot in his personal story that's really relatable for me personally, and so I drew from that. It was very. I mean, I've said this before in interviews. It was the most challenging character I've ever done.
Yeah,
because it had to be so honest. It had to be, usually so many of my characters I'm hiding behind a voice, and but with this one there was nothing to hide behind, so that was tough. That was a real challenge.
So what were you then pulling from your own sort of, like you said, it was a little bit autobiographical sort of his story?
I mean, it was for Jason as well. Just about not quite. Growing up, discovering the Muppets, being a huge fan, not fitting in. Walter physically didn't fit into his world. He was tiny and always getting hurt, and being made fun of, and that was very relatable from my own childhood, and and being the fan, and also wanting to be surrounded by the Muppets. Also,
I can relate to that.
So, I mean, yes, it was on one hand, it was a big acting challenge. On the other hand, typecasting.
A little bit. It's fine. I just very quickly have to show this photo. There we are. There's me and Walter.
Wait, which one's Walter?
Which one's what? I think the one.
They look like twins.
Well, do you know what when you brought Walter over to me, this was a few years ago, you said to me, Walter said to me, "Oh my God, it's like looking in a mirror." It really is.
Yeah.
It's like that's one of my favorite memories.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I had my little chat window here on the right was on private, so I didn't see all these live comments, and I'm just now seeing them. Yes,
people know why Walter's name is Walter.
Oh, it was the name of Jason's first puppet. Jason Segel, who co-wrote the film, wrote most of it. His first puppet character was called Walter.
Oh, that's it. So do you then, you talk about one of your
I'm sorry, Rebecca Head. She's an actor puppeteer down in New Zealand.
Hi, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, you're right.
I'm looking up.
Say hi. There's a lot.
Echo is not good, right? Uh-oh. Am I echoey?
No one else.
Oh, yeah. I stayed up all night dancing, didn't study for finals because of you. Oh, that was Drew Massey who had that line.
Okay. So a lot of people are writing things. My friend Sean is trying to get me to do character voices again.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry, guys. I'll be with you just a second. I'm just catching up some of these.
All right. I should say at some point I am going to read this live on Instagram.
Oh,
and
you've got to do the voice.
I will pride myself. I do a good Grover.
All right. A lot of people are asking me about, do I have any of the puppets? I actually don't. I have a Tutter that a fan made that's very, very accurate. I do have Theo from Between the Lions. He belongs to Chris Surf, but Chris is kindly letting me keep him here. So I do have Theo. I don't have any of the Big World puppets. I think Mitchell Kriegman still has all of those. Puzzle Place. I have no idea what happened to the Puzzle Place puppets. That was created by the Lancets, Larry Lancet and Cecily Truitt. I don't know if they have them. I have no idea what happened to Puzzle Place puppets. I have a Neville doll down here somewhere.
Puzzle Place, one of those shows that I haven't seen enough of. Like I've seen maybe clips here and there.
Yeah.
Nothing like it's same as Between the Lines, because Between the Lines was never aired here in Australia, and so I've sort of I'm familiar with it. I know who the characters are, but I couldn't tell you really anything about the show.
Yeah. Oh, what about the? No, I don't have the. I don't have. Pip. I don't have Pip from Bear in the Big Blue House. Can you just talk about Avenue Q for 1 or 2 minutes? You're very sweet. We were
talking about this earlier. Please talk about Avenue Q.
Yeah, so I was in Avenue Q. When I wasn't in the off-Broadway, but when it went to Broadway, they needed to fill out the cast. They needed some more people to cover everyone. They needed a fuller sound, blah, blah, blah. So I was part of the original Broadway company. I was in the ensemble, which meant that I was singing at a microphone backstage for 5 or 6 songs just to fill out the sound. And I had half a dozen or so puppet cues throughout throughout the show. And then I was the puppet captain, which meant that when new people came in, I would train them on the puppeteering. I also did that for the touring company for a little while. And then I covered all the guys. So I covered the Princeton Rod part. I only went on 3 times in that role because not exactly right for Princeton Rod. Nikki Trekkie and Brian, who was the human in the show. And I actually kept track, like a prisoner. I put hash marks, carved them into the wall of my bedroom every time I actually went on a lead role. And I ended up in the two years I was in that show. I went on about 20% of the time as a principal, really? And the rest of the time was in my ensemble role. Yeah.
Have you got a favorite number from that show?
Oh, I loved If You Were Gay with Rod and Nikki.
Yeah.
That was really, really fun to perform.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love Purpose. Purpose
is amazing. That was, that's like much of the show, a little out of my range vocally. Because I never consider myself a Broadway caliber singer.
Many years ago, I went and I did a couple of little singing lessons. And one of the songs I would go in with was Purpose. And after 2 sessions, the singing teacher went to me, I don't think this is the song for you. And I was like, yeah, right, fair enough. You got me on that one. Do you remember your first memories of the Muppets, of Sesame Street, of Jim Henson, or anything like that?
Yeah, well, of the Muppets. Every now and then I'll start singing a song out of nowhere. I think about where we live, we actually have a milkman. I live in a bubble in 1950. But we have a milkman. I was bringing the milk one day and I was going, milk, milk, milk. I think that's from Sesame Street. And I looked it up and yeah. And it was Sesame Street when I was 3 years old. I don't have a memory of the first time we sat down to watch it, although the lore in my family is that the entire family of 5 of us sat down in 1969 to watch the first episode because it was a very big deal. I just, I don't remember a time when there wasn't Sesame Street. I remember when the Muppet Show came out. I remember, I think I saw one of the first episodes at my best friend's house in his kitchen. He had a little TV that sat up on this little eat-in kitchen area.
Yeah.
Watched it. And I was just like, Walter in the Muppets.
Yeah, just banging on the finger. Yeah, believe me, that's how I feel even now, and I'm nearly 31. What year did you sort of join? Sort of Sesame?
My first season on Sesame Street was season 23, which was the fall of 1991.
Okay, so you never got to meet Jim. You never got to communicate with Jim.
No, I never met Jim. My very first season on the show was the first season he wasn't there.
Okay, because a couple of people have asked if you ever got to meet him. So you never sent a letter or anything.
I've gotten to. Sorry, what was the question?
You never sent a fan letter or anything when you were younger?
When I was in college, I sent a demo video, and I got this lovely rejection letter from a producer, Pat Nugent, who later became a friend of mine. Because this was before, and there wasn't an internet. I didn't have any books. I didn't know they used monitors.
Yeah.
So I just had a camera pointed at my little puppet stage, and they're like, well, your lip sync's good and you've got nice character voices, but we use monitors and cameras and you should. Anyway, it was a lovely letter. But no, I never, doggone it. I never met.
Anthony has asked if you got to meet Richard Hunt.
Yeah. Richard was already pretty sick when I met him, but I didn't get to meet Richard.
Okay, because you hear stories about Richard being a real force of nature, and I really like.
I love the stories. I get so many wonderful Richard stories especially from David Rudman, and from Louise Gold, and what a force of nature he was.
Jennifer Graham has asked, what was your reaction to being cast in Sesame Street?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Obviously it was a dream come true, but at the same time, I was doing hands. There were these monsters. I think they were called the fly monsters. There was a little short one and 2 tall ones. And and Kevin Clash was doing one of the tall ones and I was his hands.
Okay.
And that first season, there was no, there was no rich and famous contract, unfortunately. you know, I was coming in, I was doing right hands, I was assisting, I was doing background. Every now and then I get to a background character. But that first season, I would work 1 or 2 days every 2 or 3 weeks. And I was living in Atlanta, and I couldn't afford to fly. I would drive my old rickety Toyota Corolla up to New York City. I had made friends during a workshop. I had made friends with Allison Mork, who was Cherry on Pee-wee's Playhouse, and she offered her couch. So that was my first apartment, was Allison's couch for a few weeks. And I remember almost every single time I worked on Sesame that first season, I'd get just splitting headaches because I was so nervous about, I cannot blow this. I have to be the best I can be every single second. I cannot blow this. I put a tremendous amount of pressure on myself. And then when I went back home to Georgia, back to some temporary jobs I was working down there. And when I started getting scripts for season 24, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh my God, I'm going back. I was just thrilled.
Do you remember the first sort of recognizable character you got to work, even if it was in background or doubling for someone?
The very first thing I did was 2 bugs dancing together. I mean, I did things. I mean, you know, I was like right-handing for Harry Monster, for Jerry Nelson and the Count, and I got to right-hand for Frank doing Cookie Monster a bunch of times. But I remember doing mostly incidental characters. I was a bird. Fran Brill's character, Polly Darton.
Yes,
had a band, and she was doing some song, and I was just this little bird. There was 2 little birds singing backup, and I was one of the birds. And I just remember, we've got the puppets up, and Polly Darton turns to this little bird, and she's like, "Oh, you're new in the band. Have we slept together yet?" Yeah,
lovely. So then, how did you then start working with the Muppets side of things?
Wow, boy, you are testing my memory.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot more memory testing later.
I mean, back then it was all the same. It was all the Jim Henson Company was everything. The Sesame Muppets, it was the classic Muppets, it was, you know, Bear. We used to do these corporate videos. What the heck were they called? You guys know what they were called.
I know some of them.
Coffee break films.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and I got to work on one of those. I was working with Steve and Dave, and it was the first. I had met Steve at this workshop in 1990. A friend of mine says, "I see you, Ernie. Stop distracting me." I'm in an interview. Stop distracting me, Tom.
Hi, Tom. Sorry, yes, you're doing.
So I was actually I took so many pictures because I was floored to be working with Steve and Dave. I'd never met Dave before, but that was the first time.
Yeah,
but that was in the early 90s.
And
that was the first. And I worked on there was a sing-along home video for Muppet's Treasure Island that I got to work on.
Did you work on Treasure Island?
No.
But then
I worked on a sing-along home video that was shot in New York. And
then you did Muppets from Space, correct? Didn't you double for Frank?
Yeah, Muppets from Space. That was we were in the midst of Bear when I got the call from I think it was from Martin Baker about Muppets from Space. And originally I was just an assist. I was just, you know, background and whatnot. And Steve was supposed to be doubling for Piggy, and he really did not want to. And I think I had doubled for Piggy for one scene where Steve had to be doing something else. And Steve's like, "Do you want to do it? Why don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll yeah." And Bill, I remember Bill Barrett is like, "You sure you can handle this?" Like, "Yeah, I think so." Okay. And
that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it was.
Is Piggy? Someone's asked how heavy is Piggy?
3,000 pounds.
But yeah, that sounds about right. Easily. Is she awkward to perform because the mouth really doesn't open that far?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that. Yeah. The builders have done a remarkable job making her. You know, I think, boy, you know, back in the day, if you watch the old Muppet Show, she was made out of carved foam. And she's been so light and pliable, but now I think she's mostly, I don't know what she's made. I'm not allowed to say, but she's tough.
Now she's
Nurse Jessie's. Oh, bless you.
Jessie. then yeah, hi Jesse, hi everybody. We got 71 people watching. We're obviously doing something right. All right, then let's look at Ernie, because obviously the character development for that's something a little bit different. You've obviously taken over. Jim played Ernie for years, Steve, Billy Barkhurst, and then yourself. So how do you then take on a character that's already been so well established?
That is such a challenge, YouTube, YouTube, and classic Bert and Ernie, and it was really something. And I've said this before, just going back and watching so much classic Bert and Ernie, where it's Jim and Frank, and after you watch it a couple times, you're entertained by it, but then you have to break it down and see, how is Jim moving the puppet? How is he not moving? How is he reacting to Bert? How is he not reacting to Bert? And that's just the technical side of it. And then you have to get into the character and what motivates him, what drives him, what does he like, what does he not like? All that basic acting stuff. And that's before you even get to the voice and trying to in your best, take this instrument and recreate something that was done.
Your Ernie voice is spot on.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
People here said that it's pretty much like Jim Henson's. Kathleen Clark wants to know how you do Ernie's laugh. Is that just...
You know what? It's deceptively... it's harder than it seems, because I don't remember how I used to do it, because I've gotten used to doing with my tongue kind of relaxed and it's on the side. It's not just it's not in your throat. It's all in your mouth. And I get it's like the sound has to, my tongue is really flat and relaxed, and the sound has to come out from either side. I don't know if I'm even doing it right, but
that is, I mean, look, it's spot on. At least everything I've ever seen you do with him is spot on. Ernie's one of those characters too that's really interesting, because he can be, depending on who he's with, he can be, the wacky guy, or he can be the straight man.
He can be really sweet too. I love Ernie's sweetness. I love that he's always messing with Bert, but he's got such just a sincere, just such a huge heart, and I love his sweet side, just as much as I love his mischievous side.
Did you what was the first Ernie thing you did?
Wow, what a good question that is.
Was it I feel like the backyard with Bert things was the first thing I ever saw.
Oh yeah, and we did the ducky thing.
Yeah, the ducky song.
Is that it? El Pedito? Yeah. I think even before that, possibly around the same time, we did a parody of Stranger Things, Stranger Things season 2.
Yep.
And Ernie was in that, and that was one of the first things, actually. And I remember I think they had the teeth, the funny teeth for that parody. You guys have to look it up.
Right. Playing Dustin's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so then when do you take on this role? Obviously, when you audition for Ernie, are you auditioning against Eric?
No, no, because he's doing Bert. He couldn't audition for Ernie. But
I mean, were you?
I'm auditioning.
Yes.
Well, I can't remember, because there were several different rounds, and Eric was definitely at the later ones. I think the initial round was just for Matt on tape, and then everybody looks at it, not just Matt and Eric, but also the producers and the production team at Sesame Workshop. They look at that sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was yeah.
Couple of people want to know your favorite Ernie and Bert sketch, like from history.
You know what? One of my favorite ones growing up was it's the one where the punchline is "Ride 'em, cowboy, Bert." It's the Ernie and Bert book. It's actually the original bit, I think, was written by Norman Stiles.
Yeah.
It was originally written by Norman Stiles. But I don't know. As a child, I loved this one. Gosh, it's awfully good. Whole thing.
Oh, okay. Yes. I haven't watched that sketch in.
And what you did too is that I think in the book, I think it's maybe possibly I'll have to ask Norman. It's like his original script, but if you watch the bit, it's Jim and Frank have obviously tweaked it quite a bit. It's really fun to see.
Like I love the Here Fishy Fishy.
Oh, that one's great.
That was
great.
Yeah. I think that still is my message tone. Like my phone's usually on silent now, but when I get a message, Here Fishy Fishy. That, and then I actually spoke to Frank Oz about this when I interviewed him. That one where Bert's playing checkers with Beneath.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's amazing. Yeah.
And also the rhyming game.
I
mean, just because obviously, like that, because they just improvise a lot of that. Because obviously, like
the snowman and the snowman one, we're teaching about what's alive and what's not alive.
I mean, I could sit here for another.
I could talk classic Ernie and Bert bits. All night. That's everyone.
What's your favorite thing you've done with Ernie since?
Jazz at Lincoln Center.
Oh my God!
Lincoln Center was my favorite thing that I've done yet. Ernie, that was, for those of you who don't know, we did this concert. I don't know how many months ago it was. Jazz at Lincoln Center with Wynton Marsalis, and it was a live show. And we were on stage. You could see the puppeteers, and of course, we didn't have the characters up over our head. And I believe that there were large television screens so people could see the characters without us underneath, or they could watch live. But I got to perform "I Don't Want to Live on the Moon," and that
was beautiful.
And I've been desperate to do that song. And
I remember, like, I watched that live as it was. Yeah, and I actually got offered free tickets, and obviously I'm in Australia and I couldn't go. So I sent a friend of mine, Chris, and he loved it. I remember the bit that really sort of almost took my breath away a little bit is as you're doing "Don't Want to Live on the Moon," when you all of a sudden Ernie's up on the moon, up like almost basically on the ceiling.
They built the special piece.
Did you just have to like run as fast as you could to get up there?
No, I actually had more time because Big Bird had a verse and Abby had a verse. So during those two verses, I had time to get up. I walked quickly but calmly because I didn't want to, wipe out. And then we get the Ernie on with the legs and the black hood and everything, and walk up these stairs and meet the other performers there and get them all set before the curtain came up, revealing him on the moon. Yeah.
How does something like that compare to like the Hollywood Bowl and the O2 shows?
It's really similar. Anytime we do any of these big live shows, I mean, Jazz at Lincoln Center, it's smaller than the house for the Hollywood Bowl or for the O2 in England. But Jazz at Lincoln Center was a little simpler because we didn't have all the giant set pieces and we didn't have nearly as large a cast. But all those live shows are just some of my absolute favorite things to do.
Yeah,
we're in the studio. We're in a vacuum. We don't have a live audience, and actually getting to see the audience and.
Do you get nervous in front of the live audience?
I get excited. I think any nerves I have, and I've heard other actors say this too, but I think I do get. I mean, like even for auditions for live audiences, I mean, there's a little bit of nerves, but it becomes energizing, and it turns to excitement and fun, and I
asked that because when I interviewed Cookie Monster a couple of years ago, I got talking to David Rudman, and this was about 3 months before you were going to do the O2 shows. And he said, he started seeing a couple of the scripts and here and there. And I said to him, well, do you get nervous? Because you're going to be in front of thousands of people. And he said, not really. He goes, I'm looking down at the monitor. He goes, it's not much different than actually doing it in the studio. He goes, I'm just hearing laughter afterwards.
Yeah, I'd say it is different. But he's right. I mean, you are looking at a monitor. You don't really see the people until the Hollywood Bowl at the end coming out. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I missed both live shows, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, hopefully there will be more to come.
Well, hopefully you come to Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, please. I'm waiting.
Oh, we did it. We actually did some shows in New Zealand.
I missed them as well.
I'm looking back over comments to see. I hate to. So many people are.
Some people asked missed. Someone wants to know if you have any favorite behind-the-scenes stories. Just maybe something first one that jumps in your head.
Here's the thing. I have a terrible memory. I have a mind like a rusted colander. It's full of holes. It retains nothing. Good behind-the-scenes stories. Doggone it. We'll keep talking. I'll tell you if I come up with one.
Comes to your mind.
I mean, I've had quite a few pinch yourself moments.
Yeah.
We were shooting a scene that actually I think it got cut from the final film, but for the Muppets 2011 film, we were shooting on Hollywood Boulevard, which they shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I was shooting a scene with Amy Adams, Jason Segel, and Rob Corddry, and I had a lot of lines, and there was a stunt coordinator, and there was all these taxis, and and paparazzi like crazy just beyond the borders of this closed off area. That was definitely a pinch yourself moment. Not so much behind the scenes.
That's right. That someone, Chris Smigliano. Hi, Smig.
I love that guy. He's
oh my god, he's incredible. He said, "Have Brian J. Jones write your biography." There we go.
I have not yet.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
See what's around.
I'm just trying to see if I have more fun stuff. Oh, this is kind of cool.
Let's zoom out and look at all your stuff again.
Here's another thing that. Whoops. Sorry. Yeah. This is kind of fun. 2010. This was a Christmas present that I don't know if you can see. That's probably overexposed. Jason gave to the cast and crew. Let me turn down the slide a little bit. Maybe that'll help. There it is.
Muppet Merlot.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's got a little Kermit in the O as well.
Ah. Do this. There you go.
And you never opened?
No. Certainly not.
No? That's going to be a special occasion. That's going to be for like...
I don't know. It's probably vinegar by now, but...
Yeah.
Look at these cute little 45s. My brother got these for me. Found them at an antique shop.
Do you know,
a little art direction on here from back in the day.
Right. I need those photos like available on Muppet Wiki. Like I posted a thing a couple of months ago of like spelling the word fun.
Yeah.
The fun song with those letters.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just want to write everything I can with the letters from those albums.
Cool.
Get on it, Muppet Wiki. We'll let some people
back in time from any Jim era production. Oh, Emmett Otter, without question. Yeah. Emmett Otter. And how come this can extend to Sesame's first year? No, Emmett Otter. That all time favorite thing that Jim Henson ever did. I still love it. Every bit of it. That's
how I feel about Fraggle Rock.
Excellent. There you go.
Like I had real dreams 10 years ago about being a Muppet performer. And I started watching Fraggle Rock, and I remember saying to a friend of mine, like, I have to be a Muppet performer so I can work on the Fraggle Rock movie. That's when it first got announced. If it
ever happens, it would be amazing. Retired Muppet?
What was that question?
Oh, do you have a favorite retired Muppet?
Oh, yeah.
Right, and you go.
I don't know.
I mean, that answer used to be Crazy Harry, but he's back, you know?
He's back. Well, let's talk about then sort of future stuff.
How are my kittens? Stacy, the kittens are fine. They're 6 months old. They're hopefully sleeping right now, but I'm sure they'll be terrorizing the living room in no time.
That's all right.
If you were once Big Bird, no, I was never Big Bird. I'm sorry, Jared. I've given
please.
No, I filled in for Big Bird quite a few times. Not the voice, of course. If I ever did put down the voice, it was always replaced by Carol or later Matt. But I've certainly performed Big Bird a bunch of times.
Well, a couple of people have actually asked about that. I got a couple of questions from people saying, what was the process like of performing a character for a performer to then overdub?
There's different ways to do it. Usually we'll have a microphone on, and I'll if I'm performing with someone like if Matt has to do a scene with the Count and Big Bird, and he wants me to be in Big Bird. and Big Bird has a line. I'll say, well, how are you going to do the line? He'll do it, and then I'll approximate it. I'll say the line. It'll go on tape, and then he'll later go into a recording booth, watch the original video, and match the line to the lip sync that I do.
Okay.
That's one way. Other times, if it's a song, we pre-record songs, so that's easy. Just lip syncing to the correct pre-recorded voice.
Yeah.
Oftentimes on Bear in the Big Blue House, if Pip and Tutter were in the same scene together, and I was doing Tutter, usually Jim Krupa would be performing Pip, and I would just throw the line. So Tutter might say something, right, Pip? Oh, that's right, Tutter. Yeah, right. So you just throw it back and forth.
Yeah.
Eric did that a lot with his characters as well.
Yeah.
Just throw it.
Well, I remember, like, do you then, let's just say you're playing Big Bird or whoever it is, are you mimicking the voice or are you doing your own voice? Because it's only going to get overdubbed.
Good question.
I asked that because when I was on the set of the Muppets in 2015, as a guest of you, so thank you very much, Bill Beretta wasn't on set that day and you had to do a line with Pepe. And you basically did your own voice, but slightly Pepe-ish.
Slightly Pepe-ish, yeah. And I was probably trying to keep it quiet so it wouldn't bleed onto other people's microphones. I do like a crummy impersonation of the voice, and it helps my performance. If I'm looking at the monitor and I see that it's Big Bird, and I might do, but softer, quietly, so I know.
Yeah.
Bleed on this. There's my terrible Big Bird, or Cookie Monster. I've done Cookie Monster a bit lately too, doubling for David, and same thing, but it's
But it's just your cookie.
It's my cheap impersonation, is what it is.
A couple of people want to ask about this person, Roosevelt Franklin fan. Do you have some favorite memories of Carol Spinney?
Oh my gosh, so many. They're all great memories of working with and hanging out with Carol. Gosh, years ago there was a group of us that went and spent a weekend with him and Debbie at their house. Just 3 or 4 of us, and there was this freak snowstorm, and they lost power, and we were hanging out by candlelight, and he has this amazing garage. It's like holds 4 or 5 cars, but he had motorcycles and paintings and tractors and things in it. But upstairs was Birdland. It was his little dance club, and they had a karaoke machine and a dance floor and a disco ball. Yeah. And I just remember that night, and it was a really small group, and Carol and I ended up sitting at a table in this little karaoke room, and just talking. And boy, that man could tell the most amazing stories, and that was just magical. It was just the 2 of us in his home in this separate building, just talking.
Yes,
about his childhood. And of course, then I got to know Carol a lot better, and it turns out, well, he'll tell the stories to anybody. He loves stories. Also, when I used to right hand for Oscar a lot in the early days, my early days at Sesame, and I would get to hear stories then about him working with different celebrities, ones he loved, ones he hated.
Yeah, I won't make you telling you the ones he didn't like. Bratton Hugo asked about favorite memories of Jerry Nelson.
Oh gosh, did a lot of right-handing for Jerry as well.
Was it you who told the story in one of the anniversary books that you were right-handing for the Count and got slapped? That was you? Yeah,
we were doing a bit with Kevin Kline, and apparently I got. So when you're right-handing, when you're right-handing for a character, your job is to just fill out the look of the character. You're not the character. You're helping with the symmetry of the character, and you are just the right hand of that character. Yeah. And this was early on, and I think I was emoting a little. I think, but the right hand of the Count had a little too much life, and I was just and without warning, I felt bam. The Count's left hand hit the right hand really hard. I was like,
"Yep, just okay, yes sir,
okay, yes sir." But
yeah,
I've so sweet. That was I've told that, Matt's heard that story. It's like, I think that was an accident. It's like, no, it wasn't an accident.
I've done a little bit of puppetry with a friend of mine, Michael, and I've right-handed for him, or left-handed because he's left-handed. And I have thought to myself before, if I'm overdoing it, I always think of that story and go, all right, yep, nope, gotta.
Gotta be still.
Yep.
You guys are hanging out. We have 6 people now hanging out.
We have 68 people.
Good Lord. Guys,
So
do we have anything else to do? Oh, we don't.
We lost 3.
Hey, look at my giant Kermit Pez dispenser.
True. You actually had to move that before we filmed because it looked like coming out of your head.
You get a whole package of Pez.
Really?
Yeah. He used to say hi-ho or something, but the battery died.
That's
So
right.
I got to put this back in.
Look, I do want to ask about sort of the basics about you. So it's like, let's maybe not something Muppet related, but just some very quick fire questions about the basics of Peter Linz.
Okay.
So Peter Linz, what is your favorite song?
My favorite song?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like a lot of songs.
All right, first
I really have very eclectic taste in music.
Okay.
You know, I mean, as a child, I loved Spinning Wheel.
I don't know what that is, but great.
What goes up must come down.
Okay.
Anything with horns.
What is your favorite TV series?
Brady Bunch. No. I don't watch a lot of television. I just work there. I love Stranger Things a lot.
Yeah.
The Office. I love the American version of The Office.
Yeah.
That's kind of my therapy show. Like after my wife died and I couldn't fall asleep at night, I would watch, the first few seasons of The Office.
Yeah.
And when this started, week 1 of quarantine, when I was so anxious and freaked out, in bed at night on my phone watching the first few seasons of The Office.
Yeah, lovely. What is your favorite film?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Never seen it.
Okay, goodbye. All-time favorite film. In fact, I came this close to buying one of those Midland Jump Spark cigar lighters that James Stewart hits in Old Man Gower's drugstore. I wish I had $1 million. Hot dog. You don't know what I'm talking about, but
no.
Does because you're the only person who hasn't seen that film.
But there are probably people in the comments going, "Oh my god, that's the best part of that movie." What is your favorite?
I am after one of those Jump Spark cigar lighters. They're so cool.
What is your favorite color?
Purple.
Okay. Do you think pineapple belongs on pizza?
Some people's.
Okay, I love pineapple on pizza myself. What is your current phone wallpaper?
My current phone wallpaper is a picture of my girlfriend.
Good. What's the last book you read?
Oh, I'm actually reading Poisonwood Bible right now.
Okay.
Which is weird because I don't read.
Okay. You don't read or you can't read?
Mm-hmm.
X-nay on the are you good at maths?
At maths. I do okay at maths.
Okay. What's 12 times 7?
84.
Correct. All right. That's all the basic questions I had.
Oh, thank goodness.
Let's see what some people have written here.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know how
if Dark Crystal, these are really funny questions. If Dark Crystal Age of Resistance gets a second season and you were approached to be a character, in an ideal world, would you be a Gelfling, a Skeksis, or a Mystic? Oh, man. I think it would be really fun to be a Skeksis. Although the Gelflings are so expressive.
Yeah.
Probably Skeksis, because that looks like it'd be a lot of fun.
Where are we?
Or a Podling.
I love Hup. Is Hup a Podling?
Hup's great. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, Victor Yerrick does great with Hup.
Yeah, he does.
How did you get chosen to become Robin the Frog? Did you just audition for it?
Oh, that's an interesting story. Yeah, okay. So Robin the Frog. So shortly after Matt Vogel got cast to perform Kermit,
yep.
He approached me and he said, would you like to do Robin? I think you would be a great Robin. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if I can do that character voice, but I would love to try. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I think you'd be a great Robin. And he said, obviously, if I'm doing Kermit, I can't be Robin. And at that point, he'd already talked to the head of Muppet Studios. And at the time was Debbie McClellan, and she thought it was a great idea. Mm-hmm. And so I got to be Robin. Funny side note with that, one of the first things I did as Robin was the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
And as a Hollywood, yeah. And I was just fretting over the voice, and Matt told me what Jerry had told him about what, Jerry said that he did that voice. He imagined doing that voice through a straw, like his, it was just, Jerry.
Yeah.
So many voices. And Matt told me how he interpreted that, and he helped me a bit. And I was just struggling with it and really, self-conscious about it and fretting about it. And I did it a little bit. And David Rudman comes up to me and says, now you have to know, David Rudman is a dear friend of mine, and I love him. I love his family. And he's been a very dear friend for many years. David says, well, it looks like Robin.
Oh, that hurt to hear. Oh, that was
that's my favorite line. I love that. Well, and anytime I do Robin now and I'm not really happy with it, like, well, it looks like Robin.
Shauna and Damon Gower asked if you have any shoulder or hip joint issues from all the work you do.
No, I have a shoulder issue from. What is my shoulder issue from? Oh yeah, actually I do kind of have a shoulder issue right now. Yeah, I've got some bone spurs that once this whole pandemic is passed, I'm probably gonna have some laparoscopic surgery to scrape off some spurs. Yeah, and I used to. I started exercising a few years ago. I don't know if my trainer Tom is still there, but he was chatting me earlier. He's probably left. Trying to probably put his son to bed. But I started exercising so to be more symmetrical. But I used to try to swim laps. I'd swim in circles because the right side is so strong and the left side is so weak.
Yeah. Is that the sound you make when you're swimming?
Sorry?
Is that the sound you make while you're swimming?
Yeah.
I don't swim. That's what your cats sound like in the other room.
That's right.
Where are we? Michael Lanza wanted to know about adapting to the camera work on the 2015 Muppet series, because obviously you're dealing with handheld cameras versus sort of locked off cameras.
Yeah, that was challenging. The other thing is that not every time, but oftentimes we would shoot 2 cameras at once, or maybe 3. So we had larger monitors than we usually have, and there's what we call a quad split, so you could see what each camera was seeing in a different part of the segment of the screen. And our director was wonderful, and he would say, okay, well, for the first half, for these few lines, watch this camera, then the second half, watch this camera. So that was challenging. That was something new.
A couple of people want to ask about Joe the Legal Weasel.
Oh yeah, Joe the Legal Weasel.
So he was another character I wanted to talk about, sort of character development wise. Where did he come from?
Yeah, so he was just let's say, I know you guys have seen a little bit of Joe. I don't know how much I'm really allowed to say about him.
Yeah.
Well, you know that there's Muppets Now, which is this content coming out for Disney Plus, and Joe was written for a couple of disclaimers. And I saw the puppet, and it was this very cute puppet. And Bill, I think it was Bill who cast me as it, and he asked me about what sort of voice you're going to do. I was like, well, I don't know. And I put the puppet on. I'm looking at him. I'm like, well, he's really cute. He could be this cute voice. But that's kind of on the nose because that's what he looks like. And we were talking about it, and Jim Lewis was there, and our producers from Muppet Studios was there, and we're just standing around talking about it. And I said, wait, what if I just gave him a really, really deep voice, like, hello there, that's it. And Bill laughed. He's like, do that. Try that. It's really funny. And Jim Lewis loved it. And it's like, okay. So, that's what he just became, this guy with a really microphone voice. You just put the voice up through your sinuses there.
And then what about that laugh?
That was totally random. I think I was nervous. Talk about being nervous, because it was a brand new character. I hadn't really rehearsed anything because we just kind of gotten the script a day or two before. So I had this kind of nervous energy, and I think after a take was done, I think I made some stupid joke, and then just started doing this annoying machine gun laughter. And Bill Barretta came over crying. He's like, "Do that! You got to do that some more!" And so they ended up writing a lot more bits for him, which was really fun, really gratifying. I've never had
all the comments of anything Joe's been on everyone just writes, "I love that laugh." So I think you found the hook. Okay, a couple of people want to know about Beyond the Sock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, here's the mug.
There's the mug. So Beyond the Sock, for those who don't know, is a puppetry workshop.
Yeah. It's a puppetry workshop that for the past 5 years, 6 years, happens at the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas. It was begun by the head of the film department there, a man named James Martin. And James had come to visit the set of Between the Lions when we were shooting down in Jackson, Mississippi. And he had this idea for training puppeteers to do a show that he had, something he had in mind for a puppet show.
Yeah.
And it evolved into this annual thing where traditionally Noel McNeil and myself will for 5 days, 4 or 5 days, we're teaching puppetry for film and television. And the wonderful puppet builder, Pasha Romanovsky, is teaching building. It's kind of like, in a way, it's similar to the very first O'Neill Puppetry Conference, where half the time you're building a puppet for film and TV, the other half the time you're learning how to use it on camera. And they have wonderful facilities there. We usually have 3 or 4 cameras set up, and each camera has several monitors. So everybody gets a lot of on-camera time.
Yeah.
And we've ended up having people come from all over the world, from the Arctic Circle, from New Zealand, from Israel, Costa Rica, all over the U.S. And it's been a really, really fun. It's something I really look forward to every year.
Catherine Hannaford asked, "What's the best part about teaching all the newbies?"
Seeing the progress. I love seeing the passion and seeing the progress.
Yeah.
When you see your students start to get it and improve and this is like learning how to play a musical instrument. I always say, at the end of a week, I don't expect you to be playing jazz or a virtuoso on the violin, but hopefully you can at least play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Yeah. And I love seeing them get it. I love seeing the progress and the little light bulbs going off.
All right, let's have another little skim through these questions.
We don't know when the Sesame movie's coming back. Of course, like everything, it's been postponed.
Yes, I didn't say that. Where are we? Any questions here jumping out at you?
I see a lot of people leaving because we've been yakking for nearly an hour.
Yes, we'll start to wrap up in
sneezing.
That might have been my favorite part of this thing so far. Well, all right. Well, let's look at this.
Harry monster. Oh yeah.
Oh, Harry.
Listen, I'm still trying to #, bring back Harry.
Yeah.
Seriously, like I tried it. A couple of times this past season. I was cast as just a background monster or a background AM character, anything Muppet, just walking through. And so I would go to our director and to Matt Vogel, our puppet captain, and says, "Is there any reason why this can't be Harry?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure." So I keep trying to get Harry Monster in there because I love that guy.
Well, I love your Harry Monster as well. He's
thank you.
Yeah. All right.
My opinion, and Megan, if you're still there, my opinion on moving arm rods in post. I'm not a huge fan. I don't mind the arm rods. I mean, maybe it's. I don't know about what the audience feels about that. I mean, I grew up seeing the arm rods and it didn't bother me.
I think it adds to it. I think it adds to that sort of magic of it. I find it weird when Kermit waves and he hasn't got an arm rod.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing them. Okay.
And then Jesse Oliver wants to ask about Link Hogthrob.
I love Link Hogthrob. I love performing Link Hogthrob. I got a wonderful note. Talk about character development. I got this wonderful note from Dave Goles. By note, I mean a critique about Link after I'd been doing him for a little while, and he said, your Link is very good, but Jim don't push so hard and don't be so loud. And it was a great note, and I took that note. It's like, oh yeah, and made all the difference in the world for a couple of the guys that knew Jim and actually had been around his Link or characters with that voice. Like, oh yeah, that's it.
I loved the
doing Link. He's such an idiot.
The Doctor Who sketch at the O2.
Yeah, at the O2. That was amazing.
They were great. I'm a big Doctor Who fan.
That was very cool. I really enjoyed that part. It was really fun.
All right, look. So I talked to you a little bit about this before. We talked about your memory not being great.
Yeah,
we're gonna really test it here.
Oh yeah.
I spent 2 hours yesterday going through pretty much every interview with Walter I could find online, behind the scenes videos, anything like that. And I've got some questions for you, and let's just see how well you remember things.
Okay.
In a 2012 interview with Talk Nerdy, Walter revealed his last name. What is it? Blagojevich, correct. What was Walter's job before he joined the Muppets? He said, I don't know, I can't remember where you said this.
He wasn't cleaning pools.
No.
He should have been. Can you give me a hint?
I'll tell you now, and then we'll see if you can remember what it was called. He worked at a men's formal wear store.
Oh yeah, he did his research. Don't mess it up. Thank you, Stacey Gordon. He worked at a men's formal wear store.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was called?
Was it Boyd Brandt Formal Wear?
No. It was
that would have been good because that would have been autobiographical.
It was DeVito Short and Squat.
DeVito Short and Squat. That must have been an improv. Yeah.
And had
as an aside, by the way, after my first season on Sesame Street, I went back home to Georgia. I worked at a men's formal wear store, Boyd Brandt Formal Wear, and actually I worked a lot for Boyd through high school and college. Anytime I wasn't away at school, and that was a really good job. And Boyd is a great guy.
Well, is he Danny DeVito? Because
kind of.
Short had 3 stores nationwide.
There you go.
In the same interview with Talk Nerdy, Walter claims to be the lighting stand-in for which character?
I'm looking to see if anyone's going to tell me in the comments.
No, not getting help.
Who is he the lighting? Who is he? Oh, no, who is he the lighting stand-in for?
For Chucky.
Who's Chucky? Oh God, for Chucky.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny in 2012. What happened?
That was, and he claimed he's a really nice guy.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds about right.
In an interview for Scream Slam, Walter and Jason Segel discussed Walter's expensive impulse buy. What was it?
His expensive impulse buy?
Mm-hmm. With all his new money.
Oh my God! I can't even imagine.
It was a Maserati.
What, a Maserati?
Yeah.
What's he? He can't drive. What's he gonna do with a Maserati?
I don't know.
That's really funny.
That's a really funny interview because
I think Jesse Oliver wants to know what was Walter doing while the Muppets were doing the ABC series. Jesse, he was behind the camera. Don't tell anyone.
And then he took a photo with me. Walter claims he has every Palisades figure except which? There's one he doesn't have.
The Dr. Teeth repaint.
Correct.
Because I don't either.
Okay, well there you go. You still haven't got it?
No.
All
no,
right.
I've got so many. I've got a closet full of the variants, and then of course I've got all the open ones behind me.
All right. Well, if anyone in the comments has a Dr. Teeth tuxedo variant, send Peter Linz.
Yeah. You went for it. Did you ever perform Dudley's right hand? Yes, I have performed Dudley. I think I've performed almost everybody's right hand.
During an official behind the scenes
video. Smig's got it. Smig's got the repaint.
Okay, Smig, come on.
Rare, man. You got to hold on to that.
During an official behind the scenes video for Muppets Most Wanted, Walter claims to have no idea who he was just interrupted by. I'll tell you now, it was one of the core puppeteers, but which one was it?
Oh, was it Matt?
No, it was Eric.
That was Eric. Okay.
In that same video, which comedic actor does Walter claim to be a huge fan of, only to not recognize him?
A comedic actor?
Yes. And this comes up like 3 times in that video.
It's not Ricky Gervais.
Nope.
Was it somebody in Muppets Most Wanted?
Mm-hmm. In fact, you've mentioned him once during this thing already.
Oh, gosh. Rob Corddry?
Correct. And finally,
these are tough. I am failing your quiz. I'm not doing well at this quiz.
you've done okay. And
Oh,
finally,
thank you. A couple of folks gave me Rob Corddry. It popped up on my screen too late. Doggone it.
people shouldn't be healthy. Finally, what is Walter's very first line in the Muppets?
Dun, 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 dun. That's me, Walter? No.
Bang. Correct.
Yeah, that's me, Walter? Whew.
Let's all give a round of applause.
Oh, wow.
Guess the old says Muppet fans know more than the Muppet people themselves.
It's oh boy, do they? Muppet fans definitely know more than the Muppets themselves or the Muppet.
I was almost going to chastise you during this interview because during like an early interview, you had mentioned that Walter had mentioned that he goes on different Muppet fan sites, and I thought you had only mentioned Tough Picks, so I was going to come on here and attack you, but luckily I went and refound it yesterday, and he does say Muppet Mindset. In fact, he says Muppet Mindset first.
Oh, excellent. Actually, well, you guys. Oh, now I don't know if it was Muppet Mindset, Muppet Central, or Tough Pigs, but it was part of my final audition for Walter. I had this idea and just did this little thing with Jason where Walter admitted that he wrote fan fiction for the Muppet Mindset for one of the sites.
Yeah, that was for Tough Pigs. So I went and found
the thing.
In that interview, you say that you wrote fan fiction for Tough Pigs.
That was part of my final audition.
Well, there you go. Well, this has been genuinely wonderful hour.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you to the how many people do we end up? I know a lot of people had to go make dinner.
We've got 62 at the moment, but we
nice.
around the 75 mark.
Oh, that's lovely.
So I think we did well. Let's just the last couple of questions. Do you think George the Janitor should come back?
Oh, definitely. Oh, I love George the Janitor. Yeah, he should definitely come back.
Yeah,
thank you for performing.
Anyone else?
I don't know if Cold Sober is still there. Oh, Cold Sober, is that Tao? Tao, is that you?
Maybe.
The audition process for Puzzle Place. I'll tell you what that was like. That was like, hey Kevin, you're doing that show in California. Do you need any other puppeteers? Like, yeah, you want to do it? Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't think you would like to. I'd love to. Okay. I mean, you still have to audition for the producers, but okay.
Done.
Can I do it? Yes. Cool.
And someone then asked, what about Mildred Huckstetter?
Oh, wow. Wouldn't that be wonderful to have her come back?
And yes, Cold Sober is Tao. Hello, Tao.
Bert and Ernie's Great Adventures, the claymation from LB. Yeah, you know what? I am a fan of puppets, characters being puppeteers. I love the puppetry that you can touch them, that they're there. They exist in our world. You know, they can go on talk shows. I'm really partial to puppets being puppets.
And then will Muppets Now give us that classic feel? Or will it just give us, as long as it feels like the Muppets, I'm happy.
Oh, it's definitely the Muppets.
Yep, great.
You know, honestly, I haven't seen, and we shot those. It's been a while since we actually did that content, and I have seen very little of the bits edited together, so I can't honestly answer that question. No. But I think personally, I think it's going to be great. So do with that what you will.
Roosevelt Franklin fan asks, "Is Walter on your watch?"
That's a great question. Is Walter on my, you know what? He should be.
He should be.
I have quite a few watches. Alas, I don't have one with Walter on it. That's a great idea.
Is the one that's on Walter with Kermit, is that a functioning watch?
Yeah. Actually, there was this one woman in the props department who would come every single scene of the film, every single scene, and check the time and adjust the time accordingly on Walter's watch so it fit within the story. That's how crafted films are. And unfortunately, I don't know that you ever really see. She's like, well, just in case, and she would always set, and it was an act. Yeah, and he still has it. He still wears that same watch.
That's it. All right, last question that we'll take. Peter, will Gloria Estefan come back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, the baby. I'm sorry, Gloria Yeah, someone asked way earlier about favorite characters that are no more. Gloria Stefan. I would love for Gloria.
No more Gloria
Stefan to come back.
Oh my god,
That would be great. That's so funny. Yeah, my huge breakout character from the ABC series.
was Gloria a boy or a girl?
Oh wow, that was kind of nebulous. I think she was a boy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But great character.
Yeah. Originally,
right.
Walter would no. Okay, here's something. Originally, Walter would have been dubbed by Michael Cera. Did either of those actors influence your performance? Oh yeah. Okay. So no, that got written in the press that like Michael Cera was going to dub it. That was never ever the case. I saw that early on, actually, before we even started principal production. I was alarmed by it, and I was assured over and over by a number of people that was never the case. That story was not accurate. The Michael Cera connection, though, was when I got the call back for the character of Walter. I was told that nobody. There was like I think 5 of us. Nobody gave them exactly what they wanted, but 5 of us came close. Mm-hmm. And the one note I was given was that they had said, the people making the casting decisions had said that if this role were going to be a human being, that Michael Cera would already have the part. So I started studying every Michael Cera TV show, movie I could get my hands on, trying to get into his head, break apart his characters, and apply them to this little puppet character. So
was he then ever considered for the human Walter that Jim Parsons played?
Oh, I don't know that. That would have been a good casting. I think maybe I want to say that maybe he was and he wasn't available. Here's a little bit of trivia: that Jim Parsons bit in Man or Muppet, when Jim Parsons is singing, it's my voice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Am I a Muppet? Am I a Muppet? It's me. They kept. I guess I did a scratch vocal and they kept it. But,
I just want to say I was horrified that you guys didn't get to perform that at the Oscars.
Right.
And then
one year they don't do the songs.
And then a couple of months ago, during this year's Oscars, Eminem got to come back and do "Lose Yourself" because he didn't perform it 18 years ago, or whatever it was. And so many people in my Twitter feed were saying, "Well, then the Muppets should get to come back and sing Man or Muppet."
Muppet, yeah. They got to do it quick before I can still hit that dang note.
That's it. I mean, that's something that I didn't even think about. You have sung an Oscar-winning song.
Yeah, I know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I always say, well, Walter usually says that. I sang a song for. I won an Oscar for the best song, but they misspelled my name on the trophy. They spelled it Brett McKenzie. Not too long ago, we were down in New Zealand, and I actually finally got to hold my Oscar, and I got my picture with it, and with Brett, and with the song arranger, and we all finally hold our Oscar.
And now it's on your shelf somewhere behind.
Now it's on my. No, I do have a Golden Meaty Award from Between the Lions. I think that's the only, and I might have a Best Actor Award from the Festival of One Act Plays from when I was in 10th grade, but I think that's about it for awards back there.
That's it. All right. Well, I think we might wrap it up there.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us. This was really fun.
This has been a genuine honor. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please be safe. Wash your hands. All that stuff. You too, Peter.
Yeah, I will. Believe me, I've been touching all this gross stuff behind me. I don't. Muppet Broadway, sure. The squirrel. Oh, I wish I saw. You know what? I think that squirrel. It might have been a Steiff. It might have been one of those Steiff, those beautiful German mohair. It was mohair. It was a mohair squirrel, and I mean that was like circa 1970, 1971. And it was this. And I think I was the child who lost that squirrel in that park many years ago.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, thanks, Allie Pally. Oh, you watched? How'd I do, Alice? I'll talk to you after. You can tell me how I did.
Fine. Lovely. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you all soon.
Thanks, big snowflake button. Thanks, Stephanie Routh. And Eve. Oh, thank you, Marcus. Thanks, everybody. Claps all around. Isn't that nice? Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Macy Elizabeth Music. Okay, all right, fine. We're going, fine. For those of you who want to stick around for the after party.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Find out what's in my desk drawer. No, I probably should go do something else.
Yeah, folks.
Bye, everybody. Wow, hour and 15. Oh, it was an hour because of the thing. Okay.